Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Just getting things ready and I'm fixing my camera right now. Sorry for the late start, but we have a interesting guest today. His name is Mode. He's the founder of Indie.fun, and I'm really excited to bring him on today. And a couple of little updates and reminders from last couple of weeks. I haven't been able to do the Sunday regular sessions because the founders that we talk to sometimes just don't have time on Sundays. Uh, Sometimes they're only 6 hours off. They're only 6 hours off of the week, or if it's just they're just grinding hard. So I've been trying to find like different times of the day. It seems like it's going to be Wednesday or Sunday. This upcoming Sunday, we also have another founder coming to do an interview with us, and that's the ICM.run guys, or the Believe people. And we'll talk a little bit about that after. Right now, I'm trying to fix the camp situation. You know what? Doesn't seem like it's wanting to be fixed. So we're just going to get started. Okay. All right, I'm going to invite Mode up to the stage and let him do an introduction. Hey, man, what's it going? How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me, Richard.
Hey,
Things are going great.
that's
Actually, I'm
awesome.
just getting over food poisoning.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow. What did you have?
I think I had this. So I asked for decaf ice cap at Tim Hortons, and the lady working there told me that they don't have decaf ice cap. And she
Okay.
said she's gonna just make me something using milk and vanilla drink of some sort. And she made me that, and then ever since, I just wasn't feeling normal. But
What?
that being said, I feel a lot better than like 2-3 days ago. I literally thought I was gonna die. So
Oh,
good
man.
to be here.
So that's the pro tip. Don't go to Tim Hortons and try to order mystery drinks.
Yeah.
Stick with the menu. Okay, I'm glad you're feeling better. Well, this is the first time we actually get to, you hear so much about the launchpad wars, like, Pump Fun versus Bonk. It's really the first time I've ever gotten a chance to talk to a launchpad team, a launchpad project founder. What's that like?
I try not to think too much about the competitive side of the
Yeah.
things. We understand that the launch pads are becoming rather hyper saturated pretty quick because, yeah, I mean, that is where the money's at right now. And as many of you guys already know, the biggest pieces of the pies are being taken by Pump and Bonk and all them, understandably. And we try, as a more of a boutique shop, which is Indie.fun, which I'm happy to introduce and explain a little more later. We try to focus on our own specific niche and not to compete with everybody else out there. And our niche is to help indie game developers or game developers in general to help them launch their tokens and be able to secure some should I call it like a angel slash a pre-seed amount to help them with development and to ship their product and really in a sense reward the backers by well, again, by shipping their product.
Yeah, that's awesome. Would you be able to just give us a quick overview of like how you stumbled into this, or was this, something you always wanted to build? How did it all start?
Oh, not at all. So the whole this crypto founder journey started about, I would say, good 3 years ago or so. So I was never really deeply into crypto. Actually come from like SaaS B2B background. But then I say give or take 7 years ago or so, I built a viral game in browser that garnered about 200,000 daily active users, and it was doing really well. I was making like thousands of dollars just from the ads every day passively. and I built it by myself in like over a weekend. So ever since I've been I decided to go in that path of being an indie game developer, and then at the same time, I started working on this game engine called Modio to help others to build similar type of viral multiplayer, browser-based multiplayer games. And I've been building that since. But then there was this opportunity for me to apply for Alliance DAO, which is arguably the most prestigious Web3 startup accelerator program. By the way, I think their application is due. The deadline is I think the 10th of 10 days. Actually, don't quote me on this. I actually don't know what that deadline is, but it's happening really, really soon. So if you're a founder listening to this and you want to join an accelerator, I strongly
recommend. Good tip.
Yeah, Alliance DAO. But yeah, they I got into the accelerator without expecting much, and this was 3 years ago. And ever since I decided to sort of like full pivot into crypto. We did a seed raise 2 years ago, and we've just been working really hard trying to find that product market fit. And the whole the launchpad hype happened earlier this year, and we were one of the earlier ones to move into that. And that's when Indie.fun happened. So we're sort of like the whole mixture of like game engine, viral games, and token launchpad all so blended in together. So if by any chance you happen to be a founder or indie game developer who wants to build a multiplayer browser game and looking to fundraise as well, we would be like the perfect platform for doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much what we do and how we sort of ended up doing what we do.
That's awesome. So it's cool that you guys not only have a launchpad but also a game engine as well. It just feels like there's like actual like more substance in there that people can use, not only just launch tokens that don't really do anything. Can you tell us more about like these different indie game developers? Like, what do they want? How are they thinking around this? Do they know about crypto?
It's it's they come in all mixes. I would say good like half of them have no idea about crypto. They have like 0 CT. Yeah. And we sort of have to educate them on this and these are all starving indie game artists, so or indie game devs. So having any kinds of funding will really take them a long way. So they are inclined to learn. So we do find ourselves having to educate them on this. And the other half would be, the ones that already have a strong CT following, that's been in the trenches, so on and so forth. So and like the degree of their exposure to CT is also very different. Yeah, some of the guys are just like full-time DGen. Some other guys are sort of just like they understand the surface level. Yeah, they come in all colors, I guess, and shapes.
And you mentioned that some of them are like quote unquote starving artists that are getting into that have been in indie game development. Do they like port their current games, or do they actually build it from scratch? The
current status of the game also comes in all sizes and shapes. Some of the guys are just like at an ideation stage, while some of the other guys have a game that is fully playable, or even have a player base, right? It's really hard to predict, it's really hard to say whether if there's a correlation between the completeness of the game versus how their token's going to do. It's actually quite interesting to watch. Yeah.
So is it like, I'm guessing the more complete the game is, the more players there are, the better the token does? Or
so
as a speculator, how do I invest in these games?
Exactly, right? And that being said too, like us having a platform that is a game engine that is actually working. We pride ourselves in that, and a lot of the crypto projects tends to, I guess many more of them tends to be in the earlier stage of development than the being the mature stage, for a good reason. I mean, it is a quickly innovating industry, right? But that being said, yeah, no, really, there is no correlation. One would think that if the game is more complete and that has a even like some level of sustainable business model, and maybe they even have a revenue, right? One would think that they would perform better, but no, that's not true at all. Like, we have had tokens that don't even have a playable game, that performed way better than the ones that actually have a playable prototype. So yeah, it's literally unpredictable. I think it's a mix of bunch, right? And like, if you come from the good old 2022 NFT days, when the retail investors, when it comes to investment decisions, they tend to think about the team and the art, or like just the visual of the project, and I guess like other metrics too of the project too, right? Like the X follower count and Discord members and all that stuff.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
yeah, and the token launches, they seem to follow that exact same pattern, right? People seem to have those certain metrics that they pay attention to, and sometimes the completeness of the game don't even matter. I would actually say most of the times it doesn't even matter.
To the game developers themselves, like, how do they think they can improve their token price? I'm guessing they're like, oh, I'm a builder, I'm a game designer, I'm a game developer, I just have to build more.
And yeah, these people too, it's like dividing, it's like having a spectrum between an artist that is a complete sellout versus the one that is like true to the heart, kind of artist, right? And I see the same pattern with the same spectrum across these game developers as well. I'm not saying that being a complete sellout, aka someone that just focuses on building a hype than the actual product, is the right way. But I hate to admit it, I think the ones that are better at building hype tends to do better when it comes down to having the higher market cap for their tokens. Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of that, because at heart too, I'm an indie game developer too, right? And I would much rather see more games that are playable, that to perform better. But sadly, that doesn't really seem to reflect the reality.
I think that's maybe just kind of like part of the nature of our industry, like extreme speculative behaviors. But I wouldn't, I wouldn't just stop there. I think that there's still a possibility that there is a breakout game, in which there is either some sort of flywheel, or where the completeness of the game or the popularity of the game translates to token price. I've talked to a lot
we're
of
building one right now.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Wait, what's that about? Is that a new game coming up?
Yeah, so we're building this game called so a bunch of us is contributing into this. There's actually a pretty big team behind this. The game is called Tales of Meteora.
Okay, I like the name.
Yeah. It's actually talesofmeteora.com, or you can follow us on x.com/Tales of Meteora.
Nice.
And we're super duper excited about this game, because we think that it is, well, I mean, we know for a fact that this is a more complete version of a game that is playable, and it is a real tech, and you can so sorry, I'm just gonna give you a quick intro about the game.
Yeah.
The high level premise of the game is that it runs on a multi-token economy. So generally, when you think about a crypto game, you think that, okay, there's a game and there's a token that's associated to it. But Tales of Meteora is an MMORPG that stands for Massive Multiplayer Online RPG Game. So think about World of Warcraft, but it runs on browser, but also it has multiple places that you can visit. There's about 27,000 different places you can visit actually, and they're mostly all procedurally generated. And it is community owned, but not only people can own these plots of land, they can also make their token the default in-game currency of that land. So this concept of ownership of a plot of the land has already been executed multiple times by these metaverses that came long before. I think they were pretty hyped back in 2022 as well, 23, the NFT days, right? But they all required you to use their currency, like one currency for everything. So if you think about Sandbox, for example, you had to use sand as the one currency. But yeah, within the world of Tales of Meteora, you're gonna have towns or villages or camps that only accepts their native token. So like, for example, if you are in a village and you're trying to buy a sword or armor or a potion, or you're gonna pay for your nightly stay at an inn, you're gonna end up having to pay that native token of that village, which is I would argue a unique idea. And going further, we're also introducing this new paradigm called play to stake, meaning that when you spend token for these services, that token doesn't just end up in the developer's wallet or the landowner's wallet. It gets staked, meaning that, permanently, meaning that that token is no longer in the circulation. The spender will actually earn money passively over time. So we're encouraging people to spend more in game, and you're not really spending it; you're just staking it, right? And you're gonna earn money from those tokens over time. And the token communities love that because, or we imagine they would love it because that's more token being staked by having these players interacting with the world. And we think that these token communities love this because there's already like more than a handful communities, different tokens in like millions or tens of millions of market cap participating in this. So we're super excited. The token launch is going to happen. Bit of an alpha here, by the way. We haven't really the token launch is going to happen in about 2 weeks from now. So not this week, but not next week, but the week after. And I think it'll be pretty big.
That sounds exciting. So it's almost like, I guess, a monopoly in a sense, where like land ownership is conflated with staking, and then that staking results in higher rewards for the stakers or the holders. Is that correct?
Yeah. And in a sense, we're incentivizing the token communities to bring in their community to play the game, because more players playing the game means more staking done for their token. So everybody wins.
Oh, that's true. So it's like almost like a token sink, but in the form of a game.
Exactly. We're giving them a shop front, like a virtual shop front, or for them to sell virtual goods to stake their tokens.
Curious why you called it Tales of Meteora. Meteora is a
So I mean, this is a public podcast, so it's hard for me to make official statements, but I would say that Meteora is involved to a certain level of capacity.
okay.
I can't drop that much of an alpha right now, but I mean,
Awesome. Got it. Okay.
They're involved.
So somehow Meteora is participating in helping with this game, and Yeah. Well, that sounds fantastic. Okay, cool.
It is
Cool.
amazing. They're an amazing team to work with, and we're
Yeah.
really excited about their new DAM version 2 liquidity pool.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
It's a
true.
lot of fun.
So is Indie.fun also using some Meteora infrastructure?
Yeah, yeah, we're using DAM, the same tech, DAM version 2, for
Oh,
all of
okay, okay. The
the
AMMV2.
liquidity pool deployments. So,
Yeah.
and it's great because the game developers who are launching tokens with us, they can collect fees purely on Solana, in Solana.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because prior to using Meteora, we used Radium for
Hmm.
deploying liquidity pool, and Radium's great too. It's just that when it comes to collecting the fees, the dev would collect both Solana and the quote token being their token, right?
Yeah.
So like, what do you do? With all these like tokens, your token that you're getting back, like the only way for you to liquidate it is by dumping it. So
Yeah.
that was a bit of a headache, but that's not
Yeah.
the case for Meteora anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Um, yeah. So, okay. So interesting. Are you okay? So since you're integrated with the DAMM infrastructure, that means any tokens launched on Indie.fun will show up all across the different trading terminals, right?
Sorry, can you elaborate that?
Oh, I guess the question, it's not really a question. I think I know about it. It just means that since you are launching on DAMMV2, that means any tokens launched on Indie.fun, that these game tokens, they'll be automatically visible on all of the different trading terminals that surface the DAMMV2 tokens.
Yeah, all the main ones, anyways, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
X tools and X screener and whatnot. Yeah,
I
I
guess
mean,
that's an easy way of like bootstrapping kind of that distribution.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Meteora is one of the very widely recognized and accepted liquidity pool provider. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
guess it would
never
be
had. Yeah,
cool. Sorry, finish what you're saying.
I was just gonna say we launched about 5 tokens in the
Hmm.
last month, ever
Oh,
since
okay.
transitioning into Meteora, and yeah, we've had zero issues being exposed to all these terminals.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I, it would be cool to be able to, I don't know, from the trading terminal side, be able to differentiate. Like sometimes if it's like a bonk token, it ends with BONK with the ticker. Do you guys do any of that? It's like vanity
Yeah, yeah.
CA
All tokens that are launched through Indie.fun ends with the INDI in the token address.
INDI.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. I was always curious how people did that. Is there like a different? Is there a
yeah.
way
You
to
gotta
find
like,
that contract?
yeah. I mean, I'm not the main Web3 developer in our team,
Oh.
but
Mm.
you essentially have to like run a query through like millions and millions of addresses, and you kind of like reserve some of the ones that are available to you,
Oh, I see.
and
I
then
see.
you can use it. But I mean, do correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a very versed Web3 developer. I'm more of a HTML5 game developer by nature.
No, no worries. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I was just curious about that. I haven't looked into that either. So, guys, if you see INDI in the CA, that means that there's a game behind that ticker. So, do check out, indie.fun and get more into it. Okay, well, that's really cool. You got the Tales of Meteora that's coming out with the launch in about 2 weeks. Um, and there is the platform as well. Um, I wanted to learn a little bit more about your experience as kind of a Launchpad founder, right? Like, how do you see yourself growing the Launchpad? What are your plans? What challenges have you encountered, being on the other side? Because, most of us, we just provide liquidity to these new pools that pop up. We don't know what goes on. How do you support these projects, support your platform?
Right. So you're essentially asking me two questions, I think. So
Yeah, yeah,
how do you expect? Yeah, how do you see myself growing as a launchpad, and then just being on the other side?
yeah.
Yeah, just like how things are being a launchpad and whatnot. But to answer your first question, I I would revert back to, you know what, like Paul Graham said back in like Y Combinator,
Mm.
make what people want. I think that's what he says. I'm paraphrasing.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's truly the only way for any, you know, startup or product service that has a MVP, or sorry, sorry, minimally not MVP, sorry, but a product market fit. That's the
PMF.
phrase I'm looking for. Yeah, PMS. For me to have a PMF, I think we have to be really, you know, bringing value to the table for our users.
Mm.
That being both for the, you know, game dev and for the retail investors as well, right?
Mm.
Um, and I'll answer this in two parts, right? So for the devs, there's two values that we have to bring to them. One is making sure that you know, we provide the seamless experience for fundraising and actually securing funds so that they have, you know, funds to spend to build their product, right?
Mm.
And also, you know, we provide a bit of almost like a white glove service when it comes to like helping them, you know, giving them advice on how to market and stuff like that.
Mm.
So and those seems to echo the most with the devs, and they like us, they love us for providing these services. So we're gonna,
Yeah.
you know, continue doing this well, and I think that's path to, you know, grow.
Yeah.
And for the retail investor side, that's the tricky one, because you can't make everyone happy. You know, the truth is that, you know, for the retail investors to be happy, you know, they have to be making money,
Mm.
but you can't guarantee, you know, making money or an ROI. I mean, if you did that, I think that would be illegal, right? You know, it is what it is. It's you know, it's in the trenches, and, you know, more often than not, it's a zero sum game.
Yeah.
You know, some people will exit, some people will farm, you know, and yeah, as much as I wish that everybody could make money, you know, I mean, I'm not in control of that, and how the market moves, you know,
Mhm.
what the market sentiment is. As much as, again, like, I want everyone to win, we can't control that. So people get upset when the product doesn't perform as well. And I hate to admit it, but, you know, there have been projects that have gone silent after fundraising, sadly.
Mm.
But we're not in control of that either, right?
Yeah, you're
Some
just
guy,
the kind of launchpad distribution
exactly,
on the token
and
side. You know?
yeah, I mean, whether if they stop developing the game because their funds run out, I mean, these guys are raising a significant amount of money. You know, some of the guys are raising like $10,000 to like $100,000.
Mm.
And I mean, it's not, while this is not nothing, but at the same time, when they have a team of developers and artists, you know, it can only last so long, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you know, should you expect these guys to continue? You know, if their game isn't doing well and they run out of funds, I don't know, right? You know, 99% of the startups fail, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, I would. So the best we can do is just, again, making our platform to function seamlessly,
Mhm.
um, and make sure that we present the best opportunities that we find to the retail investors to participate in. Right?
Mm. Mhm.
It's almost paradoxical, though. The one problem that we're facing is that because we're more of a curated platform
Mm.
versus platforms like Pump.fun, which they're launching, like, you know, I don't know the exact number, but thousands and thousands of tokens every day, right?
About 50,000.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Whereas for us, we're launching like one token every like 1 or 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
because of that, there's that level of expectation from our backers, thinking that, okay, like, this is the one token that they're launching in, you know, very long time, so it must do good, right? But we
Yeah.
can't really guarantee that. You know, the best we can do is that we tell them that, hey, like the founders are KYC'd, they're verified. It's not just some scam that is launching a token. Like that's the level of approval, like a seal of approval that we can provide to the people.
Yeah.
But again, we can't help it if everybody decides to dump or max extract. So yeah, that's a big question mark that we're trying to solve right now and grow as a platform.
Yeah. Have you? I guess you guys helped launch 4 different project tokens this past month. So it sounds like you guys will have to kind of curate, go through the entire process with a project once a week. But I imagine you probably get more than 1 a week of applications to launch, right? So
Yeah, there's quite a few in our pipeline, but of course, we reject a lot more than we accept.
Yeah. Well, you're like a mini Alliance DAO in this regard.
One could say, maybe, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, I guess the question then becomes, how do you curate these teams? Like, what games do you say, okay, I'm gonna actually spend the time, 1 to 2 to 3 weeks to help you launch your project on Indie.fun?
Yeah, so definitely we look at their CT, right, of the founders, the project, just to make sure that this isn't just something that spawned overnight, right? Like, have they been tweeting? Do they have real followers? What are the engagements like? Just the basic verification to know that the project and the people behind it are real. And those would be like the basic surface level thing to even consider chatting with those guys. And then we would actually hop on a call with them just to make sure that these are real people. And that's only getting harder and harder with all the advancement of the AI.
Yeah.
But for now, to a reasonable degree of confidence, we can still tell whether this is a real people team behind the project. So those are, I guess, high level, those are like the main KYC that we're doing. And then whether if we believe in the project, whether if we think it's going to be a fun game or not, we tend not to be the arbiter of that. Who are we to say, right? Some of the dumbest games have performed spectacularly well on platforms like Steam. What's the one game called Banana Game? It's like the stupidest thing ever. Like banana clicker, you just click on the banana.
Oh yeah.
It has the highest player count for the longest,
such a brain rot game.
It is, right? So you just can't predict the success of the game, right? And maybe that's part of the recipe that makes the investing in game fun. But yeah, so we tend not to be the arbiter of the actual quality of the game. Usually we focus on the legitimacy side of the project. And if all checks, then we verify their project and we help them fundraise.
Yeah, and these are fair launches, right? And the developers get like the 1% fee or something over time of LP fees or trading fees.
Yeah, so they can actually, with our platform, they can actually adjust how much fees that they collect over time.
Okay.
It can be anywhere between like 0.1% all the way up to like 4%. And yeah, it is generally a fair launch. And I say generally because there are ways to. We actually, one great feature about Indie.fun is that we do provide a quite high level of customization when it comes to your tokenomics or your token launch. So you can actually assign, you can customize how much token you want to give out to the backers versus how much you want to keep as a developer.
Yeah.
And also how much of Solana that you raise will end up in the devs' pockets versus how much will end up in the liquidity pool. I'm going to shut down my Discord. So that being said, there are sort of a ways for developers to make it so they can have like a private sale if they wanted to.
Oh, okay, okay.
With like investors, early investors who wants to get in, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the way they would do it is by utilizing the whitelist feature. So we have this multi-phase whitelist feature. You can have it as many phases as you want. Generally, we only have like one or two whitelist phases. And whitelist phases basically where people can participate in backing the projects before everybody else in public,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Pre-sale.
Yeah, exactly, right. But you
Yeah.
can make it so, yeah, like this phase is only open to private investors, and they can invest during that round, right? So if they were to do that, then it's not really fair launch, I would argue. But I would say,
Phase
like,
launch.
yeah, high majority of the fundraisers, if not all of them, they were all fair launches.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, we give the control to the game dev, but
They
they seem to
decide.
choose. Yeah, exactly. But they seem to choose the fair launch.
They ask you for this advice, right? They're like, oh, should we do fair launch? Should we do, point
Yeah,
4%,
and
2%?
we tend to give them, more of the open-ended answer as well. We don't tell them, hey, like, do one or the other.
Yeah.
But most of them seem to be, interested in maximizing their chance of securing the fundraise, right? And
Yeah.
if that's the case, then we tell them, hey, just unless like a lot of VCs and whatever, just go for the
I
fair
see.
launch. Yeah,
Yeah, if they had a lot of angels or VCs in their network, maybe do a pre-sale.
exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
and then, but with the pre-sale, you also have to see, how big of a hype you can drum up, versus a fair launch, which is like super
That's right.
100% organic. I see. Okay. And what kind of market caps are these projects launching at, and where do they get to?
So yeah, that also can be customized, depending on how you drag the bar of how much token and Solana you're securing.
Okay, so you
So the
decide how
starting
much you want to raise, right?
exactly, and the market cap, the starting market cap amount also changes depending on how you set these values, right? So let's say if you're fundraising like 1 Solana versus 1,000 Solana, the starting market cap is going to be vastly different. Of course, 1,000 Solana being higher. Yeah, so it varies, right?
Mhm.
Generally, I think they start at like 5-figure amount, like so in tens
Mhm.
of thousands for the
Mhm.
starting market cap. But I
Mm.
believe
Okay,
we
so
had a
pretty low.
project that started at like 6-figure as well.
I see. So, what percentage of tokens are they selling? Like 10%, 2%, 30, 40?
Yeah, I mean it depends too.
It also depends.
For each project, I would
Mm.
argue that it varies from like
It var-
anywhere between 20% to 60,
50?
70 ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, generally, like I haven't seen any that like where the public tokens are less than 10%. Maybe there have been.
Mm.
Generally, yeah, the public tokens are greater than 20% from what I've seen.
Is there, I guess these settings, it's the settings are one thing, but the success or the how high of a market cap these tokens go to, it really kind of depends on the speculation around the developers and the game and the marketing engine, right? But like,
100%.
oh, okay.
100%. Yeah,
So
exactly
they're
right.
a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit separate.
Yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
settings, people actually it's funny you mentioned that because we've had some partners who sort of looked at the settings or like the initial setup as I was like the silver bullet, right? That will ensure success. But no, it
Yeah.
has nothing to do. Like you could have the worst setting ever. Um, I mean, okay, if you really screwed up the settings, then yeah, it could probably contribute to making your project go
Yeah, yeah.
fail. Or yeah, but yeah, you could set it up really poorly, but it'll still end up doing well if your project is bullish.
Yeah.
Uh,
Huh.
and vice versa. Like you could have the best setting ever, which there isn't. But if you did, it really doesn't matter if you have
Mm.
zero catalyst and narrative. Like no one's gonna invest in your token.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. I'm very bullish on the idea that there is a flywheel effect or some sort of system in which the success of the project translates to success of the token. It seems to be like something that even like the biggest projects are struggling with, right? Even with like millions of dollars in buybacks, it doesn't tend to move the price. Um, for example, Pump has been doing buybacks since the very beginning, and they're spending millions of dollars daily on doing buybacks. They're not programmatic; they just probably the founders are pressing a button. Um, and I attribute it to their low price overall because Bonk was winning. But in the past 2 days, once again, shoot, all that completely has swapped over to.
Yeah, I noticed too.
Did you see that? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
is crazy.
I'm
And that
surprised
goes.
that their
Mhm.
token price didn't reflect immediately. I thought,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
is it like it was at all-time low almost? Like, what is where is it?
Nothing
Is
is
it?
happening.
I haven't checked recently. Is it lower than 1 bill or higher?
I forgot, but I checked like 2 days ago. But
I
like
see.
nothing changed. Yeah, it barely
Okay.
did anything to. I would have to check on chain to see if the major holders are kind of continuously keeping that sell pressure in, whether
Right.
there's like some sort of crossover or some sort of reversal in momentum at all. I have to do the TA on it to see like, okay, what's actually happening. Is
Hmm.
it the sellers? Is it the sellers just have control because they're continuously selling
Yeah.
uh, because of this recent bull and they're just trying to get out ASAP?
Hmm.
Or so it's not letting it rise back up. In any case, it's just like, I've looked into multiple case studies. Like I looked into radium, I looked into um, uh, radium is a big one. I've looked into Jupiter, and they do a lot of different things, but I've yet to see like that become a pivotal factor in them growing. The only thing has been like hyperliquid. But hyperliquid, even in that case, they have both narrative mindshare and also their buyback flywheel system. Um, I wonder if the team one day will sell. Right, you're acquiring all these tokens. Then what happens in 2 years,
Burn 'em.
3 years, 5 years? You're gonna have to sell at one point. Like it's so I wonder if buyers know that coming into that, but yeah, I am bullish on the case that there is going to be a system, or the industry, our crypto industry as a whole, starts to move towards more of a revenue or a comp focused, speculative direction, in which how well a project does really depends on like how much they're buying back or how much they're staking, which I think is, what you guys are trying to do with Tails and Meteora, right? Create all
Yeah.
those like new token sinks. So I'm bullish on that, and I think it's going to be the case in like a couple of more quarters, hopefully sooner, that people start to think that way. What do you think about this?
Yeah. I mean, at least in the on the gaming front, there hasn't been something like Tales of Meteora where there's a real utility, you know, for
Yeah.
that's
For
designed to
tokens?
drive the token price up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to like test this out and prove out the flywheel. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of testing that's going on too. So another thing we're doing is called the user generated quests,
Oh,
and essentially, these token projects. It's actually funny that you mentioned about Pump and the dev of the Pump just end up owning all these Pump tokens, right? And not knowing what to do with it.
yeah.
That's not just their problem. Like a lot of token projects have the similar problem where they just end up having all these tokens and they don't know what to do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what these user generated quests in Tales of Meteora will do is these devs can create a quest asking players to do all these like different types of things, like travel from this one town to another village and go to this castle and then kill this monster over there. And these are all very lengthy quests. But as a reward, you get the token, but not as a token form, but a staked token form. So you earn fees passively over time. So that's another utility that we're excited to provide, because not only we're solving almost hitting two birds, catching two birds with one stone, because we're rewarding, incentivizing players to engage, but at the same time we're staking tokens through these quests and getting these tokens out of the devs' wallets, right? But ultimately, I'm providing these utilities is what's most exciting to me, and it's a problem that I think that everybody's trying to solve right now. Sorry, I don't know if I'm answering your question clearly, but
My question was like, are you bullish on the case that there's going to be flywheels that work? And you kind of answered that by saying that the game is an experiment towards pushing towards that direction. I think that the industry of like meme coin speculations will kind of, it won't be like first and foremost over the longer term. I think the longer term, as people are kind of like get tired of that narrative, there's going to be new narratives. And from a mathematical and economic, like supply and demand type of perspective, these flywheels are conceptually supposed to work. And so if we return back to those first principles, I think that eventually that these experiments will yield some sort of conclusion, hopefully one that supports this theory.
Agreed.
And like Heaven Dex, I don't know if you followed them. They're a new AMM that came out. Of course, they raised like $23 million in 9 minutes or something. They came out with like a flywheel centered thing as kind of a counter argument to Believe, which has always been argued has no flywheel. So it's like flywheel as a narrative now a thing.
I don't know. I hate to sound like a hater, but one thing that makes me cringe though about crypto the most is they tend to make hard things sound so easy. Like it is so extremely hard to prove out, flywheel or product market fit or whatever you call it. Like 99% or even more, like 99.9% of the startups die before ever hitting the PMF. And like, how do you it sounds so paradoxical. Sorry, I know I totally sound like a hater, right? But you can't just manufacture a flywheel. That's like saying like, oh, we figured out a formula for creating a stock that's always gonna go up in price. Okay, maybe I'm over. You see what I'm saying? Like
that's called crime. That's called crime.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
sorry for ranting, guys. I mean, I hope they solve the formula. It's just
I hope they solve the formula and we can just copy the formula. But I'm one of the reasons why I reached out to you, Mode, was that I think we had talked in real life about whether launchpads have a moat or not, and evidently in the past few days and the past few months, this moat is questionable. Do you think that Indie.fun has a moat, given that it's focused on a particular niche, that these you'll continue launching indie games that tokenize indie games, and it'll continue to go?
So I'll paraphrase what Peter Thiel said in one of his books. Probably all startup founders read it. The 0 to 1, right?
0 to 1.
Yeah, it's been literally over 10 years since I read it. Has it been 10 years since it was published? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Yeah, but one of the chapters talk about how do you build like $1 billion company, or how do you make $1 billion, right? And there's only so many handful way of doing it, right? So I
Yeah.
think one of that is like IP, so like securing IP, and you need to hold a patent. And the other way is brand, right? If you own a brand that is universally recognized by people, that is self. And by the way, I talk about $1 billion businesses, or how do you make, like, making $1 billion essentially means that you have a strong moat that no one can like take away from you, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, the money moat.
exactly, or you wouldn't have gotten to $1 billion unless you had a moat, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think having a brand, a strong brand that people resonate with and that perceive you as, I think that's a moat on its own. And we don't really have that right now, but we're in process of building that brand so people recognize Indie.fun as a launchpad for games, right?
Hmm.
So that is something that we're working on. Another these $1 billion things that he talks about, I think, is what else is there, like a network effect. And
Yeah,
yeah, sorry, go
y-
ahead.
it's network effect, and you want to build something that
It's like
basically
10x
is
or
a
100x good, like orders of
it's
magnitude.
100x good,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something that can be a monopoly.
exactly, right? Like something just crazily innovative, like back in the days when Tesla just came out, like Model S, that was like 100x better than any other EVs out there, right? So we're definitely not that. There are other launch pads that are out there that are comparable to what we do, and network effect too. We don't really have that, so it really comes down to branding. So to answer your question, no, we don't have a strong moat right now, but we're in process of establishing that brand.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, you could think about this as back in the like NFT days, right? The NFT collection or secondary marketplaces like
Hmm.
OpenSea, Magic Eden, and all them. Like, do they have a moat? The only moat they had really was their brand. Like,
The brand, yeah,
it's a site where you can trust in and trade on, right?
yeah, yeah,
Anybody could build their secondary marketplaces. I think it's actually open source, and you can spawn a marketplace if they wanted to.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's what we're working towards right now.
Do you have any last minute words for our audience here today about Indie.fun and or the game that you guys are working with?
Yeah, so if you're a aspiring game developer, or you already have a game and you want to fundraise, definitely get in touch with me on X. My X, so it can be either indie.fun, that's INDIEDUOTFUN on X. So DM us, and we'll be very happy to get in conversation with you and find out how we can help you fundraise. And if you are a DGen who wants to participate in the whitelist for Tales of Meteora, definitely apply for the whitelist. You can do that by going to indie.fun/Tales of Meteora.
Awesome. Thank you, Mode. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck with the game launch, and look forward to great things.
Thank you.
See you
Same
later.
to you as well. Yeah, see you. Okay.
Thanks. All right, that was Mode from Indie.fun. I hope that shines some light into what happens behind the scenes with a Launchpad owner or a Launchpad project owner. I think the key takeaways there is they are balancing between curation and also kind of the marketing engine and the number of launches. Because you have something like Pump Fund that's launching $40,000 to $50,000, 40 to 50,000 tokens a day, versus Indie.fun that launches 4 a month. The amount of work that goes into the background to launch these tokens, of putting your chips into that on that horse in the race, is completely different. But then what they have to prove as a launchpad is that they can create runners, that these 1 out of these 4 or 2 out of these 4 or hopefully 4 out of these 4 are all runners, so that the launchpad can get that additional revenue, that people have trust over the launchpad itself. So that's on top of that, there's this niche story around it in that these are indie games. There are plenty of indie games this year that have done really incredibly well, that are actually doing better than AAA games. So there could be something there. Although Web3 gaming itself has been kind of like a maelstrom of whether it works or not. But Mode has been an incredible founder, I would say, like very resilient, 3 or 4 years on the going, hasn't stopped working, grinding. So I give him my respects in that, since it's not easy being a long-term crypto founder. So check out Indie.fun if you guys are interested in what they do and their platform. Let's go through a couple of updates here. Let's just skip over that. If you guys are new here, this my company's called RPS AI. We built a Solana, let's call it a market making analytics platform for Meteora. And this is the Meteor that he was speaking of before. It basically is a way for you to put some crypto tokens onto a platform and have it earn you yield over time. These tokens are used to help other people trade those tokens. Although, the problem with that is you don't know what your profits are. There's this idea of impermanent loss that's very hard to grasp and understand. Basically, there are risks involved with providing these tokens and earning yield. And we help you surface some of that information so that you can better manage these tokens, manage these positions, so that you lose less money or make more. So that's what the platform does. It's an analytics application that helps you show how your positions are doing in real time. And recently, we have updated to the new Meteor program that supports 1,400 bins. So this has been a major upgrade for them. It pretty much changed the entire program from the ground up. You can now create positions that are, up to 1,400 bins, and that means that these are very, very long positions, very wide. So it could span from something like negative 80% of the token price all the way to potentially 500, 600, 700%, just depending on the bin step there. So these allow for a larger range. And as you know, these tokens, whether they're launched by Pump.fun or Indie.fun or Heaven, etc., they have extremely high volatility. And so having a higher number of bins in one go covers more of that range. Previous to this, you had to basically build multiple positions and, to shape them in the way of like this particular one, which looks like a wedge. You needed finesse and you needed to do like multiple different positions, and each of those positions would cost you money to open up. So this all in all makes this process cheaper. And we're one of the first programs to support 1,400 dynamic bins. So there's that there. Secondly is we made some couple updates to the user interface, such as, for instance, adding the micro price trend view, which is all in the overview there. So you can see just at a glance if something is in range or out of range and how long that's been in or out of, as well as the position action price chart, which means when you claimed your last fees, when you open the position, but in a more visual way. You can also see your ranges, top bottom ranges there. And this chart will be kind of the primary place where we show your historical data in the future. And that's something that we've been working on for several months, and still going. We should have some updates coming up soon. And why use this type of program? Well, if I could just refresh the page here. We found that some of the users that use the program over time saw improvements to their profitability and reduced losses. So if you are using UltraLP to track your positions, and over time, what should happen is you can form better strategies around rebalancing, adding, withdrawing liquidity, and staying more profitable over time. So that's that about the platform. Quick reminder, I'm still getting a lot of people asking me to add new wallets. You can do it yourself. all in the dashboard. Just click on your wallet on the top right corner, drop down, add new wallet. It takes 24 hours to process that new wallet, but it's automatic. And so you don't have to keep asking me for new wallets unless for some reason your account got drained or something and you need a completely new wallet to log in, then you can DM me on Twitter or Discord or Telegram. Okay. Yeah, we're doing on-chain liquidity audits for different token projects. I mentioned this for the last couple of weeks. Basically, if you have a token that's trading on Solana and you'd like to better understand where that liquidity is and how it's affecting traders, let me know and I'll be glad to look into that for you. So that's something that we've been working on. And yeah, that pretty much sums up our talk for this week. If you guys wanted access to UltraLP, the beta right now, please DM me and I'll give you an access code. For this upcoming Sunday, we are hosting another live stream with a different founder, and that's Mercy, who runs ICM.run. ICM.run is a new initiative. He calls it a 90-day DAO, basically a DAO that's formed over the course of 90 days and runs for 90 days. And the purpose of the DAO is to support ICMs, or this new narrative of internet capital markets, which is using tokens to fundraise for different projects and using flywheel effects to return dividends to those token holders. So ICM.run is focused on the Believe ecosystem, which is another launchpad that focuses on launching kind of real companies instead of meme coins. And their launchpad has a group of contributors, mentors, almost like an accelerator of sorts that helps these Believe projects get off the ground, launch, and improve. And so we are going to have him on this live stream to talk about the issues with that. And so you're probably noticing that we're starting from talking to liquidity providers, also going towards project founders to get a better sense of how these projects are like behind the scenes. I think overall the idea of this live stream is really just to kind of bridge that gap, like understand what LPs needs are and what they're thinking about, as well as what project founders are doing, because in the midst of it all, they're all interconnected to a single token. Can we inform these founders to make different decisions that will produce a better performing token, while also getting liquidity providers to be aware of this type of project and how they can help? So getting these two parties together, that's basically our big marketplace of liquidity. And that's kind of the name of the game. So that is what we're trying to accomplish here. I think in the next coming weeks, I will bring back a couple liquidity providers and, maybe even do like a 3-way, 4-way call with different founders, as well as like major holders, token holders, or LPs to do kind of a bigger conversation together. If that's something of interest, hit me up. So that'll be it for today. And thank you guys for joining. And we'll see you on Sunday. Bye.